In this episode, we're out in my woodworking shop working on the framing for the spray booth. So let's get inside. Howdy train fans, welcome back to the Chattanooga Southern Railroad. Out in my woodworking shop here, I've been trying to mock up and do this frame for this spray booth. I thought this job was going to be a whole lot easier than it is, and kind of want to walk you through some of my trials and tribulations here. So you can see, if you remember from my plan, I got it right here. I was going to do like a 1x2 frame around the front face and of course the back face to kind of stiffen up and sturdy this box up and to make it sound, and also give myself a place to be able to mount a power strip on the left hand side there. And so I started doing that. Went out and bought some 1x2 furring strip and needless to say, the stuff was crap. Sorry, just put that in so many terms. Started cutting it up, did a little bit, and you can already see how this little short piece kind of twisted up on me right here, and you can see it down there. But then I cut another piece, and this one right here, and wouldn't you know it, as soon as I cut it loose from the stick, it blew apart like that. Just horrible stuff. And then the rest of the piece, I'm going to pull it up here so you can see it. I mean, look at the bow in that piece of wood. I mean, good Lord. You would thought it would come out off of a candy cane tree or something. So needless to say, I had to run out Saturday, to find some more sticks, and I found 2 more. And let me tell you, I had to go to 2 different Lowe's to find good sticks. Home Depot had nothing. The first Lowe's I went to had like they literally looked like you could string them up and go bow hunting with them. Finally found these 2, and these are nice dead straight. Drove my 13-year-old daughter nuts because I spent so much time doing exactly what I'm showing you here, looking down the face of each one of them, make sure I had some good stuff. So I finally got that, so hopefully I'll be able to continue on with my framing here. But I wanted to, don't mind my shop. It's an absolute disaster right now with multiple projects going everywhere. But anyway, I just want to kind of show you what I'm doing here. So as I've been kind of mocking this up, right, even though I had a plan, I've been making some design changes along the way. Some of the challenges I've had with this, other than the wood, is this box, even though it's, it has a set dimensions, it doesn't necessarily hold that dimension. And what I've found is when they measure a box, and I didn't know this, is the dimensions of the box are not the exterior of the box, but what the interior of the box is. So this box here is a 22 by 22 by 24, okay? And that dimension is inside here. And when I was measuring this up to cut these sticks, I was coming up too long. And what I was finding is that this cardboard at the corners kind of expands one way or the other, depending on how the connections of the box, if you've got a natural fold like this, or if you've got a stapled side, connection side like this, the orientation of these can change. And so it's literally taken me multiple tries to get the lengths of these boards correct. So that was challenge number 1. Challenge number 2, or I shouldn't say challenge, but design change I made is, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but I'm using 1x4s as kind of like skids running forward to back on this. And then I've got another 1x2 here that sits underneath here. So the idea here is I'm going to build a frame that this whole thing sits on, because I've got to put this hardboard plate in here, and I want to be able to fasten it down all the way around. And part of the reason I'm doing it that way is that as this thing gets caked up with paint, right, because it's going to be the main surface, I want to be able to change that out in the future if I need to. So I'm going to be very strategic about that. Kind of going back to this whole dimension thing and how the cardboard kind of moves and shifts. One of the things that I decided to do or figured out to do was to cut a piece exactly 22 inches long and put it in there as a brace, so that when I start clamping things up like this, it holds that, the box holds that shape. Otherwise it's just going to collapse, right, as you can imagine. So, but anyway, moving around the back. So these, sorry about that, I'm doing the handhold thing here. So these 1x4s come clear from the very front of the box, spray booth box, back to the fan box. And then I've got it extended a little bit further. And I'm like, well, Ian's a little long. No, there's a method to my madness. So if you remember, one of my plans is to use a stock or cheapy air filter like that. That's the one that's going to get all the paint, right? One of the things I'm doing with this spray booth to help make it as portable as possible and as easy to set up and move and break down and all that stuff is I want to be able to capture odors with it. And I also don't want to have one of those water buckets or have to find a tube, figure out some way to put a tube on, excuse me, on the back end of this to be able to, export it out. I don't want to have to always take it outside. If it's a rainy day, but I need to get something done on the layout, I want to be able to run this. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, what can I do there? So there's actually some higher quality filters that I researched about, and I've got these here, right? So these are odor reduction filters, okay, but they're not cheap, right? So these are, if I remember correctly, I forget what the MERV rating is on these, but it's pretty high. But these are electrostatic air cleaning filters. They're odor reducing. I don't want to put these in the main box where they're going to get paint on them, get them clogged up and all that stuff. They're black because, by the way, because they've got carbon in them. That's how they do some of the odor reduction to them. So my thought is I'm going to create another slot here in the back to house one of these filters. And the fan is plenty strong enough to be able to handle pulling air through the first filter and blowing it through this filter. Okay, I'm not worried about that. And this is actually two filters in one packet here. So that's what I'm going to do. So that created another problem. So if you remember, my control for my fan is sitting right there. You'll also notice I cut that little round hole out. I really didn't need it. So, but I can't, with this filter in place, I won't be able to control the fan. So I went on to Amazon and picked up a 110 volt variable speed controller knob that will attach to my power strip over here, and then the fan can come through. I'll just turn this fan, when I put it in, I'll turn it to full power on and use that controller to vary the fan speed. And I think that's going to work even better because the fan speed on this fan is 3 notches, right? You got low, medium, and high, and that's it, or off. That's your 4th option. The controller I have is a variable speed, so I can ramp it up and go anywhere in between. I don't have to pick between the 3 phases. So that's a win in my book right there. Even though it's, and that controller was only like $12 or something like that. And it's supposed to arrive today. So that's why I don't have it to show you. But anyway, so that's what I'm kind of looking at. Now that I've got some good straight lumber. I'm going to get out here and start cutting this up. But wanted to give you an idea what was happening here. So you'll see the frame around the front here, okay? I'm gonna mimic that around the back here as well, down to here, right? So there'll be nice. And the other couple things that I was thinking about too is, you know, how am I gonna carry this thing, right? It would be nice if it had some kind of handle on it. So I'm toying with, you know, where would I place a handle? Obviously it's not gonna be out in the center here, because the weight of this, especially if I got the fan in it. So I was thinking about maybe putting a handle on the frame back here. That way it would be easier to carry. The other thing that went through my mind too is, you know, this box is big enough. When you look at it, it would be nice if I could be able to hang, you know, parts from it, you know, so I can get air spray all the way around it and not have to lay them down on the surface down here and then wait for it to dry and flip it over. So I'm thinking about installing a strip of wood or a couple strips of wood just on the top here, and then putting in some eyelet screw hooks up here so I can hang stuff from wires if I need to. So let's see if there's anything else here. Oh, I also, while I was picking up wood, I picked up a couple of rubber feet here, so I'm going to put these, I think I mentioned this in the previous video, but I'm going to put those at the four corners here to make it easy to set that sucker down on it. But anyway, so there we are. That's where I am with this spray booth. Kind of got slowed down with wood and you know, design changes and things like that. But there we go. So anyway, there's where I am with the spray booth build at this point. No design is flawless. You know, you need to be open to making changes along the way as construction progresses. So this is kind of a design build type of project here. So with that, just want to thank all my subscribers. Got a couple new ones again, and of course my all my current subscribers and that have been with me since the very beginning. Appreciate you guys, and love the comments, and have any ideas. And if you see, especially as I'm building this, you know, things like this, if you guys have any suggestions on how to improve this, by all means, you know, let me know. Anything, lessons learned you've picked up along the way, I very appreciate it. So with that, we'll see y'all down the tracks. Bye.